Alright, how's it going everybody? My name is Infamous Isaac and I'm here with a video on Demon Slayer Swordsmith Village arc. This is season 3 of the show and it's been hyped up. I'm not gonna lie, this season has definitely been hyped up after what happened last season. And I'm gonna give my non-spoiler review for it as per usual, and then I'm gonna go into the spoilers for it. If I sound a little nasally, I'll explain why. But let's get into the video. Since this is Sunday and it's Father's Day when I'm recording and uploading this, and when the season finale came out, happy Father's Day to everybody out there, Tell that father figure that you have or may know that, you love them or appreciate them and stuff like that. Just make sure that they know. This is one day out of the year, you gotta make it count. So, for the non spoilers, the reason why I sound so nasally is because I was crying so much when watching this. I definitely have to say that this season is a 8 to an 8.5 out of 10. I felt like while last season had higher highs, this season was more consistent, but wasn't. Last season was crazy, and if you've seen it, you understand how crazy it really was. So, this season had big shoes to fill. And in my opinion, I feel like it filled it pretty well. Not overwhelmingly so, but enough to be like, this is a good continuation of last season. I really enjoyed it. I definitely had my emotional moments with it, but overall, the peaks came from the later half of the season. But I felt like this season just had more consistency compared to last season. Well, last season was longer for sure. I think it had like 13 episodes or somewhere around that ballpark, and it just felt like the beginning was kind of slow. It was building up to something crazy, and it did build up to crazy, but at the same time, this one just felt better. Like if I went to rewatch this season, it would feel a lot better than rewatching the second season and the first season because this one just felt good all throughout. Higher in some points, but overall it never dipped below like oh this is bad or oh this is boring type stuff. This season definitely has consistency and really good highs on its side. And while the highs from last season might make me rate it higher, this season overall is just better as a whole. So I definitely recommend it. This season is for sure worth the watch. If you haven't watched Demon Slayer, I definitely say get into it because now is the best time. Anytime a new Demon Slayer season comes out and Ufotable's animating it, it's always a good time to get into it. But overall, 8 to an 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed this season. The last episode really had me crying like crazy. Let's get into the spoilers though. So, as per usual, if you don't want to get spoiled, which I really recommend it this time, do not watch this video. My video will always be here if you decide to go watch it or if you don't want to. You can always come back whenever you want to. But just be warned, I am going to spoil Demon Slayer Season 3 Swordsmith Village arc. But regardless, the story basically starts off with after Tanjiro in the red light district where everybody was injured and all of that with Uzui and all of them. And Tanjiro took the longest to heal because he was the most injured for sure, no doubt. That man, every time he fights a demon, he's always just fighting till the last breath, whether it's somebody that he knows or somebody that he doesn't know. He will fight to make sure that they live no matter what. And somehow he just doesn't die. Like his indomitable human spirit is off the charts. So he's healing, and everybody else heals faster than him, so they go out on missions. Uzui, I don't think that we mention him in this arc. At least like he's chilling with his wives is basically all I got from it. But Zenitsu and Inosuke went on their own mission. So when Tanjiro wakes up, he's basically like, "Hey, your sword's broken. You gotta go get one from the swordsmith village." So once you heal up and you train and you get back to where you were, you'll be good to go over there. And the Swordsmith village is hidden, super super hidden, because they don't want any demons going over there. Like if demons attack that village, the demon slayer supply just gone, completely in half, maybe even worse. So they need to keep it hidden because that's like the lifeblood at this point, besides the headquarters itself. So whenever Tanjiro's healing, he always goes back to the butterfly mansion with the three adorable little girls. They're just so cute. So he leaves, and they have to bring in there through blindfold, and they have to plug his nose because his scent is so good. So he manages to show up there, and two people are already there. Yeah. You have Murichiro and you have Kanroji. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the names. So we meet them at different times, and Tanjiro meets Muichiro first, and he's trying to get a sword. Muichiro is basically like a very stoic type of guy. He doesn't show much emotion. He's like, if you're useless, all that type of stuff. We'll learn more about him later. Tanjiro just meets all the people in Swordsmith's village. One of them being the person that made his sword. That person being Haganazuka. I think that's how you say his name. Tanjiro begins training with a little kid who finds a robot, and Murichiro is beating that robot up. But it's tradition. It's important to the village, so the little kids try to stop him. Tanjiro shows up. He tries to stop him. It doesn't work. But the guy leaves, and Tanjiro gives him like some wisdom and all that stuff, right? So Tanjiro's training with the little robot, and he's training there for 3 days, not even eating type stuff because the little kid's merciless. But he manages to train and get better, and he cracks the robot by accident, and it opens up a sword in the robot, and it's just a rusted type of sword. So they're gonna try to polish that off and all this stuff. And then Tanjiro goes back to the main village, and he finds Genya there from the entrance exam. And Genya, he's voiced by Bakugo from My Hero. So if you watch that, you'll recognize his voice immediately. He doesn't like Tanjiro, but Tanjiro likes him because they're friends. So it's like it is what it is. And Tanjiro's also talking to Murichiro, and he's just giving him a bunch of life advice, right? Leaving some salient stuff that impacts him for the rest of the season. He also meets Kanroji, which is another one of the Hashira. Oh, by the way, Muichiro's a Hashira too. He's the Miss Hashira, while Kanroji is the Love Hashira. So we've already met we met all of them, but seen people fight. We've seen the Water One, we've seen Rengoku, we've seen Uzui, and we've seen these two now. So that makes five. I'm just gonna call him Hotaro, the Tanjiro's swordsmith. So he gives him a sword temporarily because Tanjiro doesn't have one. And while it's nighttime, demons invade. So we have two upper level demons, two upper moons. One of them being a vase guy, another one being just a really weird guy with a wart on his head. So Tanjiro's fighting the one with the wart while Muichiro is fighting the one with the vase, right? And that's basically how the rest of the season's gonna go, where we're split into two battles. Tanjiro has Nezuko and Genya while Muichiro's by himself. So Muichiro, we're gonna talk about him. He's fighting the base guy, and the little kid that was training Tanjiro, he basically gets left alone, and he's about to die because the base guy's about to come kill him. But Muichiro shows up, and he just remembers what Tanjiro told him, and he defends him. And now it's just him versus that base guy. And we're just learning a lot about the backstory for some of these characters, mainly Genya, Kanroji, and Muichiro. So let's start with Genya because he's the one that we see first. So Genya, while he's fighting all these people, we remember that his brother is actually a Hashira. When Genya was a little kid, he had like a bunch of brothers and sisters, and him and his brother were going to collect some stuff. A demon showed up and it started attacking their family. He had a mother and father and little kids and all that, right? So a demon came in and just killed all the children except for Genya, right? And so his older brother comes back and he's like, "Wow, you failed. You failed to protect their family." Like his older brother was trying to protect his mom while he was gone, but he couldn't protect his siblings. So Genya's just been traumatized by that and tried to become stronger or become a Hashira type stuff, while his older brother already did. So Genya is just basically helping Tanjiro fight this demon because he can actually split himself into four other demons who are also like upper moon level, and the main body is like this little guy running around. So you can't kill him until you kill the main body. So they have to deal with four versions of this, and they all represent emotions. And Tanjiro just gets cooked by one of them. And you know how this show is by now. The man is not the guy every single day. The man is just screaming, "Fight until you die," and he never dies, so he's gonna keep fighting. But next, though, we have Muichiro, and he's basically getting cooked too. He's getting hit with all these like numbing and poison needles from the vase guy, and he's getting put into like a water bubble that's drowning him slowly. And while Muichiro's getting drowned, he's basically remembering his past because he doesn't know his memories. He forgot them. And what we learn is that he had a twin brother, him and his twin brother, and his mother and father. So the only two that are left are Muichiro and his brother. And so his brother was cold. He's calculating, or not calculating. He's cold because he's trying to protect him and his brother. but at the same time, he's just being super rude to him. And Muichiro's just a really nice kid. He just wants to help. And the lady from the Demon Slayer Corps shows up, and she's just like, "Yo, I'm trying to recruit you guys. What do you say?" And the older brother's like, "No, we're not doing this. We're not trusting people because trusting people leads us to us getting hurt." His parents died because his mom was sick, and his father went to go get a an herb to help her, but he died during the climb through the mountain and all that. So they're living on their own. The lady keeps coming back, just checking on them and all that stuff. And one day a demon shows up, and they aren't able to do anything. And so trying to protect his little brother, Muichiro's older brother, gets in the way and starts bleeding out like crazy because he got like crazy injured. And so Muichiro snaps, completely snaps, and just starts attacking this demon. He blacks out. He literally blacks out. And when he opens up, the demon's twitching, literally twitching. It's dead. It's completely dead. The only reason it's twitching is because the body's twitching itself. There is no life in that demon anymore. And so he goes back to check on his brother, and his brother's long since been dead. So the lady finds Muichiro there, and it's just blood, a complete massacre. And so they train him to bring him to the Demon Slayer Corp, and now this is the one that we see. But thanks to Tanjiro, he remembers now, and he's back to the old Muichiro, and he's grown, he's gotten better, he's happy, you know. He's the one that's gonna beat this vase demon. And so having that Tatakaya moment, he literally just powers up and powers through this bubble, beating the vase demon and just being super fast at it too. He beats the demon in funny fashion too, because the vase demon was a clown. He was a bozo. He wasn't the main attraction. The main attraction is the demon that Tanjiro's fighting. So Muichiro beats him, and now like I gotta tell you guys, he's definitely my favorite character from this season. But I'll explain that more later. So his side of that story is done. Now we go over to Tanjiro's side, where Tanjiro is just having such a hard time beating this guy because after they manage to beat all four of them, like is it like they have them on the ropes, they all fuse together to make a fifth one, but not the main body because the main body is completely different. So this fifth one's even stronger. He summons wood dragons, and so Kanroji comes out of nowhere because she came back to the village after hearing what happened, and now she's helping Tanjiro fight as well. So it's Genya, Nezuko, and Tanjiro and Kanroji as well versus this demon. Her name's Mitsuri too, by the way. It's Kanroji or Mitsuri, either one you prefer. But now those three have to go and find the main body while Mitsuri defends against the dragons. So the main body is this small little dude, and they have to chop off his neck and all that stuff, right? So they're chasing after him, and this is where we get to like the final episodes of the season, episode 10 and 11, where they're chasing after him, and they're just having such a hard time because he's so fast. So Tanjiro remembers something that Zenitsu told him, and it was the lightning breathing, how to do it, like what goes into it, what parts you're doing, and everything. And he manages to do it somehow. He manages to do like the flash step, the shumpo, and he catches up to the demon, and he puts his blade into his neck, but it doesn't work. It doesn't cut all the way. And so Nezuko and Genya try to reach him as best as they can, but Tanjiro gets stuck on a tree because they fall off a cliff, and it's not like a crazy fall. They're not gonna die, but they definitely are injured. So when Tanjiro wakes back up, the demon's walking away trying to find humans to eat because he's running out of regeneration powers because his blood and all that. He's losing a lot of blood. So the demon finds three swordsmiths that are just trying to run away and hide as best as they can. And so he's running over to them. And Tanjiro, summoning his will once more, uses the flash step one more time and cuts the demon's head off. But the problem is, that wasn't the main demon. The main demon was in his heart the entire time. So let me explain this. The demon that Tanjiro just cut, that wasn't the main body. That main body was inside that demon's own heart. So that's why it's not dead yet. He's controlling that demon through his heart. And so it's still moving, it's still going, and he's gonna go eat them. And so the sun's coming up, and Nezuko isn't in her box because she transformed. And so now Tanjiro has to decide, alright, do I go save them at the cost of losing my sister, or do I save my sister? It's a hard choice, but the choice has to be you have to stop the demon, because in the future, when he has that blood, he's gonna come and kill you and kill everybody in the village and expose the village secrets and have Muzan basically destroy the Demon Slayer corpse. It's a tough decision. I'm not saying that I would know what to do in that decision. I probably would have protected her if I was in his shoes. But she didn't want that. She kicked him off of her and sent him flying over towards the demon, even though she's burning up like crazy. And so Tanjiro using this moment, even though he's crying like crazy, it's just like, man, alright, let's kill you, dog. So he flash steps one more time over to the demon, and Muichiro coming out of nowhere. Oh my gosh. So there were a few moments in this episode that made me cry. Tanjiro, just seeing him fight, using his indomitable human spirit every time to catch up to the demon and to cut off his head. So in like the beginning all the way to the end. And then you have this scene with Nezuko throwing him off and her just crying like crazy and him just having a panic attack trying to figure out what to do. And then this scene with Muichiro because he's still alive and he's with Haganezuka and the little kid and all the other swordsmith who are on top of the cliff, and Muichiro throws Haganezuka's sword, the one that he was polishing for Tanjiro, at him, so that he could use that sword to cut the demon's head because it's completely new. It's sharp, and the way that his voice actor said it just really hit me because this is not the same Muichiro that we saw in the beginning of the season. No way at all. And it's all because of Tanjiro. And Tanjiro wouldn't know because he wasn't there, but seeing it really just solidified him as one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite character in this show. Bar none. He is so cool, so cute, and so awesome, bro. But Tanjiro catches the sword and he dashes towards the demon, and this time he cuts him. He cuts him deep because he finds where the demon is, and again, it's his heart. So he slices his body in half, sees the little demon, and slices him in half too. Cuts off his head, everything. So that demon is dead. That demon is wholeheartedly dead. Tanjiro saved the swordsmiths at the cost of his own body and at the cost of his sister. The swordsmiths are telling him like turn around, and then he turns around, barely managing to stand, and he sees his sister, and she's not burning up anymore. Her skin's perfectly fine, and she doesn't have her mouthpiece on, anything like that. She's literally perfectly fine. And so Tanjiro just starts crying. This was another moment that made me cry really badly. He goes to hug her and she's speaking. She's literally speaking. She's saying like so glad, all right, I'm glad, all this stuff. She's not speaking full sentences, but she's speaking. And it's just so cute, so wholesome. It really warms the heart after seeing how hard Tanjiro, Nezuko, Genya, Muichiro, Mitsuri, all the swordsmith, everybody has been struggling, and all the people that died too. Like everybody's been fighting so hard for this moment, and it's finally here. He got rewarded. His sister's still alive. Mitsuri shows up and Muichiro show up too, and Genya as well. They're all hugging each other. Mitsuri's just crying. Muichiro's just smiling a warm smile, and they're all just so happy. And then we skip a couple days later, and Tanjiro's on like a little crate, basically getting pulled, and he's about to leave the village because he gotta go. He gotta go back to the mansion type stuff. Everybody else, we don't know where Genya, Muichiro, or Mitsuri are, but we just know that Tanjiro and Nezuko are together. She's sleeping in the box while he's on the crate. So they're pulling it, and they're here to say goodbye. Haganezuka, the little kid, the head of the swordsmith village, everybody's here to say goodbye, and they have a little parade for him as he's leaving the village, because the ninja that took him into the village is also here to take him out, and so she's like, listen, I'm gonna leave the blindfold open for you until we get out of the village so you can see this, and it's just everybody throwing rose petals, sakura flowers on the ground for him, thanking him so much. And remembering that moment is making me cry again. But that's it. Well, no, actually, that's not it. So there's one more thing. We learn about Muzan and a lot more of his backstory. We see that he lived all the way back in the Heian period 1,000 years ago, and the reason why he's a demon is because he was super sickly, and he killed the practitioner, the medical practitioner that was trying to help him, who was coming up with plans to save him. But he was so distrustful and deceitful that Muzan killed him. And I don't mean the doctor himself, I mean literally Muzan himself was that distrustful. So killing him resulted in him becoming a demon because the medicine that he took turned him into a demon after he killed the doctor. And so he just got a lustful taste for blood and flesh because he needs it, like literally survival. And he also can't go outside anymore. He can't go like in the sunlight. So for 1,000 years, he's just been finding more and more people to try and turn into demons so that he can find somebody that can either help him, I guess, allergy to sunlight, and also finding the blue spider lily because that's what the doctor said that he needed. And Nezuko here finally like overcoming her allergy to sunlight. He's just like, I'm gonna find you, I'm gonna eat you, and I'm gonna become the ultimate being. Because that man at this point has just become deluded with power and wants more so he can go back into the sunlight. And he's just like literally ecstatic with the fact that he's gonna be able to. So he's going to come after her. But yeah, that's the end of the season. My thoughts, I thought that the music was amazing. The music in Demon Slayer is always good. You have the animation, it's amazing. Oh my gosh, every time Ufotable just comes out and animates something, they put their whole body, soul, spirit, and mind into it, bro. It's crazy. Whether it's like with Fate or this show, you literally they deliver. They wholeheartedly deliver. You have the voice acting. The voice acting is amazing this season. Muichiro probably being my favorite because I didn't expect him to have that type of range. Tanjiro being Tanjiro, always delivering good voices. You have Nezuko, Genya, you have Mitsuri, you have all the swordsmiths, everybody was just doing a stellar performance. The story overall, it was good. I definitely like this one more than season one and two. Even though season one had more happening because it was 26 episodes, I definitely enjoyed this one more because of the context of the village and just how cool the concept of it is. A swordsmith village where they're hidden from the world, except for the Demon Slayer corpse. This is basically like a gold mine for them. They need the swordsmith, and they work together hand in hand to beat the demons. And it's just like, man, this is so fire. This is so dope. And I have to mention it again. Episode 11, it's like an hour long episode basically, and at this point, I think going forward, the first and last episode of Demon Slayer are usually going to be like an hour long, so I'm really excited to see that. But this episode just it was really good. It was might be my favorite Demon Slayer episode, honestly. That or like an episode back in like season two with the explosion, or the final episode of season two period. But man, it got me crying a lot. Oh my gosh, I didn't expect to cry that much watching it. Like only a few shows have made me cry that much. One of them being One Piece, one of them being Dragon Ball. That emotion is it was potent, it was powerful. So one of the things I forgot to mention were the two demons' names, Gyoko, or Gyoko, yeah, Gyoko, and Hantengu. And Hantengu was the one with like the big wart. Gyoko was the one with the vase. So just know that for the context of the video, even though it's at the end of it. And also was Mitsuri, right? Mitsuri and her backstory. So Mitsuri's backstory is that she's basically super strong. Her dad was strong. He was a pretty buff guy, and her mom was just strong-willed. So that came together to make her. And her hair just changed color out of nowhere. Her hair is all type of different color. So men in this type of time period didn't want that. They didn't want a woman who was stronger than them, because I don't know, I wouldn't mind that at all. But they didn't like her hair color. They didn't like that she was stronger. So they would always just not want to marry her, even though in this time period that's what women would be set up to be or to do. Which, you know, it's a lot older. It's history. That's basically what would happen. And so when that didn't happen, she was just left there alone, no one to love or anything like that. And she's the love Hashira for a reason. She loves everybody, right? So the fact that nobody would love her really spits in the face of that. But she would train, she got stronger, she joined the Demon Slayer Corps, and now she's loving everybody. She's fighting to protect people. She has a whip instead of a sword, so it's like, man, it's pretty cool. And now she helped protect Tanjiro, his sister and everybody there, and you know, she's nice. She's a really cool character. I'd definitely say like these two batch of Hachiros are really good. Muichiro being my favorite one though, but Mitsuri was pretty enjoyable, so I definitely have no complaints with her. But yeah, back to the video. But regardless, this season, honestly, I'm gonna bump it up to an 8.5, like a solid 8.5 for sure. It was great. It was genuinely great. I really enjoyed it. It was consistent. It was good. When it was great, it was great. One of the best of the season. It delivered. It really delivered. But let me know down below what you guys think of this season. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Season's your favorite? All that type of stuff. And you know, let me know down below. Put some spoilers because this is fresh. But I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Peace.